What is up, everyone? Phil here, and in case you've been living under a rock for the last several days, I wanted to make a small formal video announcing that I am going to be appearing on the Side Scrollers podcast here on YouTube this coming Thursday. Because I'm appearing on this podcast, this absolutely is going to affect my own daily schedule. Normally, I would be streaming around 10:45 a.m. Pacific time to start my own little pre-stream. Usually I have my own level 1 podcast at 11:15-ish a.m. Pacific time, and it usually runs to like 12:30. Then after that, we usually switch over and we do gameplay for an extended stream until like 4 p.m. Well, as you can see, the Side Scrollers podcast starts at 11 a.m. Central Time, which equates to 9 a.m. my local time here in the Pacific time zone. What that means is that I'm going to be over there at least an hour and a half to 2 hours, if not longer. Since that's the case, okay, I'm definitely going to be late to my own content. In fact, I was talking with Craig about it, and he advised me if you could leave your schedule open, because we have no idea how long your interview is going to be, it would be great. So that's what I'm doing, all right? So I want to let everyone know, first of all, I'm going to be late to my own stuff. When will I be here? I don't know. It depends on how long this show goes. And once it's done, what we're going to do is come over here. I'm going to post up on Twitter at They Call Me DSP, as well as in the community tab here on the channel, to let everyone know, hey, guess what, guys? I'm done on the podcast. Let's come over and let's start my content for the day. Now, what I'm planning to do is what I'd like to call a decompression stream. After having been on their show for a bit, I want to talk here about what exactly we did on the show, how it went, hear your opinions on it, because I'm going to be talking to them, not to anyone else, just to them. And I'd love to hear what people thought of my appearance on the show. And if we have time after that decompression, if people want to do gameplay or whatever, I'm down for that. Maybe you want to do some Hogwarts Legacy or something. If not, we could just chill for that main stream and then do gameplay that night and then get back to the regular schedule on Friday. Now, you might say, now, wait a minute. What is Side Scrollers? Why is Phil appearing on it? What is this appearance? Okay, so to give you some backstory, I used to be a fan of a website called screwattack.com in the mid-2000s. This is actually how I was introduced to the Angry Video Game Nerd, because he used to put his videos up on their website. But their website was a gamer's website before YouTube was a thing. They were doing daily gameplay videos of countdowns, news stories, and a podcast called Side Scrollers. At the time, it was actually audio only, but it was quite popular. Now, over the years, Screw Attack shut down. They got bought out by Rooster Teeth. Then they got liquidated. There's been other businesses that have started and stopped. Finally, last month, after like a decade, they decided, well, I should say Stuttering Craig decided he wanted to reboot this podcast from scratch. And it's been running for about a month now. I can tell you right now, I've really enjoyed the show. I've been watching every single episode. I've enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a great variety show where each of the members of the show bring a little bit of a different perspective on life. They've been talking about all kinds of stuff: gaming, news, collectibles, just fun stuff. It's a really great show. If you like variety, I recommend that you give the show a look over on their YouTube channel, which is called Side Scrollers, okay? So how did it come about that I'm going to be on the show? Well, basically, Craig contacted me. It was a little before their show had been rebooted back in February. He emailed me out of the blue. I hadn't heard from him in 10 years. You know, I had some interactions with Craig back in the day. Maybe we'll talk about those on the show. But not having talked to Craig in a decade, he emails me and says, hey, we're rebooting the show. We'd like to have you on as a guest. And I said, sure, sounds good. Now, in the meantime, I've been watching the show, and it's a variety show. The guests basically come on, just introduce themselves briefly, and then they jump right into the normal daily schedule of things like gaming news, topical stuff. Like, for example, the past couple days, they've been talking about personal collectibles that they all have, and they show them off on the stream. It's been a great discussion. So I was under the impression this is going to be a normal show where I'm just a guest on it. It was good for variety, because people have been saying to me, you know, why did you want to do that? Well, listen to all the stuff I've been doing this year. Take a look. My setup is different, right? I have an alternate new YouTube channel called DSP Reacts. I'm branching out to React content. I'm trying to do new things this year to diversify myself. And I figured, hey, appearing on a show like this, where most of the viewers of this show have absolutely no idea who I am, or they've only heard negative things about me on the internet, maybe having me as a guest would actually have me branch out and be known a little better. Maybe I get a couple new viewers or whatever checking out my content as a result of being on the show. That would be sweet. So that was the whole premise. But I don't think that Stuttering Craig knew what he was biting off of, and he bit off more than he could chew having me on the show, because I warned him ahead of time. I said, Craig, I'd love to be on the show, but I strongly recommend you don't really talk about it. I was not going to tell my viewers until maybe the day before as like a surprise. He decided to announce it on the show on March 1st, and it backfired. And what I mean by that is all of my detractors flooded this guy on social media, in the comments of his show. You got to ask Phil all these questions about all the toxic things that everyone says about him on the internet. You don't understand. You're the only person to have Phil on an interview in years. The quartering was the last one, and that was 3+ years ago. You got to ask him this question, this question, this question. And basically, it blindsided Craig. He had no idea that anything like this was going to happen. He didn't know I had this many haters. He just wanted to have me as a normal guest on the show. But because of this, it's now evolved from I'm a guest on Side Scrollers to I'm going to get interviewed on Side Scrollers about all this stupid shit. Okay? And it sucks because I should be able to do things like everyone else on this planet. I should be able to just go on this show and be a normal person and have fun as a guest. I'm not allowed to do that because of my haters, because of the detractors that follow me around in their own toxic clouds and try to ruin everything for me. I'm just trying to stay in my lane and make content for my own viewers. And I say, oh, this will be an opportunity maybe to branch out a little bit. Oh, but they don't want that. They want me to look bad in the eyes of everyone. So now when I show up on Thursday, this has to now be kind of a 2-hour plus interrogation rather than me just chilling with them, which is what I wanted. All right? It sucks, but it's life. This is what happens. All right? A lot of people said, well, if it's changed, why are you still going to be on the show? Well, first of all, these guys have been, no lie, bombarded with crap from my detractors for 2 weeks. That wasn't fair. They weren't expecting that. They didn't even know that anything like that was going to happen. Okay? So now, after 2 weeks of being bombarded, is it fair to cancel? No, it's not. In addition, if anything, I feel these guys are going to be very objective. Here's why. They knew absolutely nothing about all this negative crap about me on the internet at all. They've now been bombarded with it for 2 weeks, and they have honest questions. They just want to hear my side of it. They want to hear my answers to all the crap that's said about me all over the internet every single day. And this is the opportunity for me to actually answer those kind of things to an objective audience, not an audience that's going to come in with preconceived notions, misconceptions, and an agenda. Instead, they're just there to get the answers because they're interested to hear what my side of the story is. So I feel like this is a great opportunity to actually get a fair interview out of people rather than someone coming in with an agenda to a gotcha interview. You see what I'm saying? And in addition, most or all of the things that have been thrown my way, the criticisms and the hate and the nonsense, the conspiracy theories, the nasty, toxic things said about me on a daily basis, I've addressed them all. If you're a fan of my channel here, you've probably seen me address these things so many different times before, but this is going to give me an opportunity to put it all in one place. I've never actually sat down and just said, boom, 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 here's all these questions, let me answer them all, right? Never. It's always been, oh, something came up today, new that they made up, okay, let me address it. And then the next thing, the next week, let me address it. So now it's all together. And if anything, this should be a cumulative answer. Anyone want, oh, what about all that drama about Phil? He already answered all that. Go check it out. You don't have to believe him, but he did answer all of it. If you want to go watch it, go watch that episode of Side Scroller. There you go. All right? I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that this ends up being a good show. I'm hoping that for all parties involved, it's entertaining, it's fun, but also people learn a lot. And hopefully they give me a fair shake. I think they will. And it'll be good to get it out of the way. Because once it's done, I actually said this on my podcast this morning. I'll say it again in this video. Once this is done, it's done. And what I mean by that is, if I'm addressing all these things and these are my answers, I don't have to talk about them again. It's over. That's my side of it. If you believe me or not, that's it. It's not going to change. The story's not going to mystically change. Okay? So once the podcast with them asking me all these questions is done, that's it. And that's my side. And that's all. You can believe me or not, watch my content or not, that's your choice. But at least it's there. And then I can move on and say, no more lingering unanswered bullshit questions about conspiracies. They're all answered. Check it out. Okay? It'll almost feel like a weight off my back, I think, to get this out of the way. And then we can just move forward with everything constructively, for the future. Okay? So, if you're interested, 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific, this Thursday, March 16th, on the Side Scrollers channel. Podcast with me on it, asking me all the tough questions, I guess. After that show is done, I'll be starting up content here on my own channel. I don't know when that'll be. I can't promise you because I don't know exactly how long the show will be. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes well, and we can have a good streaming day. All right, guys? Thank you so much. I'll see you all Thursday, maybe on the show. If not, I'll see you in my own content here. Thanks for watching. Fingers crossed. Hope for the best. See you then.